Darren here with Sorta Ridiculous Productions. We are here for another episode of Drunken Comics at Drunken Cobra. With me today, we have Simba the Comic. What is that? At Simba the Comic, all one word?
Yeah, Simba the Comic, all one word on Instagram, no underscore.
Okay, all right. No underscore, because we score in real life. No. All right, so let's get into it. So, how long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing stand-up comedy in Milwaukee for about 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years.
Okay. So what made you start doing stand-up?
I realized that I shouldn't continue waiting to perform live in front of people. I've always been waiting to do something, and doing stand-up comedy is the funnest thing I've done as an adult so far.
Okay, so you said you were waiting to entertain people, like being on stage. Did you have something initially different that you wanted to do aside from stand-up?
Yeah, I wanted to make movies and music videos and video projects, but it was a lot of collaboration that I didn't really work well in. A lot of people would try to change my ideas, and so film was kind of hard for me to continuously do, but stand-up comedy is basically all independent. I just have to make sure I get to the places and perform the way I perform normally.
Right, so it's like you don't have to worry about anybody else. It's all you, regardless of the result. I like that. So, how would you describe your style?
My style.
Yes.
I hear that question a lot, and my style, I feel like I pander to my audience, but also I like to mix fake stories with real stories so my audience doesn't know what to believe.
Okay. No, I get that. So, would you say you tell mostly stories and I mean, I've only recently been looking into joke structure and stuff like that. Like when I first started, I was just, hey, this sounds funny, and not so much knowing proper structure and stuff like that. So you prefer longer form stuff, or?
I do perform longer form stuff because I write a joke, and when the first joke is always connected to the last joke in some type of way. And
Okay.
I don't have cheap transitions where I just randomly start talking about a subject. Like, the only random thing I say is whatever I say when I first get on stage. And then every bit I have is connected to the next bit in some type of way. Sometimes it's a cheap way. Sometimes it's barely a connection, but it's still a connection.
Right. It's not all right, enough about that. So this.
Yeah, I'm not just jumping around random subject matter, because I feel like that confuses my audience.
All right. So, well, that makes sense. So when you first, okay, here's a question. Do you remember the first joke that you performed, that you put together?
Yeah. It was something really simple and stupid, like humping the bench. It just started off with me humping the bench, and then I found words to say to hump the bench, and then it gets better and better, and then it's just a really stupid joke I have. Hey, thank you very much. You're at the Drunken Cobra.
You're here to drink. What did you get? This is the bruschetta?
Yeah,
You
it's
said
a
this is the
bruschetta.
bruschetta. You guys, I'm not going to touch your food, but yeah, everything's delicious here at the Drunken Cobra. Legit.
Hell yeah. I'm not going to eat this in front of them, but I can't
Right.
wait. Go cheese.
But with that being said, how would you describe the scene?
The scene here in Milwaukee, I would say it's trying to get into Fight Club. It's like you stand outside the door, they're like, oh no, get away. And then if you just stay out there long enough, they let you in.
All right.
But, people are friendly. If you're funny, you could get put on shows.
No, I definitely feel like that Fight Club thing that you said. Definitely feel that. Not quite sure if I made it in the Fight Club yet, don't know. I think I'm alright.
I mean, there's just so many people that come in and out that
Yeah,
it's like,
not inconsistent.
what's the purpose of me remembering someone's name if I've known them for less than a year? You know what I mean?
Right,
Be
right.
like, I've known a lot of people, and then they quit like a month, 2 months, 3 months. They were only doing it for a certain reason. They fulfilled their reason, and then they stopped doing it. But I'm just doing it to make as many. I'm trying to make money off of it, honestly.
Of course, of
It
course.
didn't start off like that originally. Like, originally I just wanted to do it because it was the funnest thing I've ever done as an adult. But then it kind of like, you see other people making money off of it, and you're like, hey, I think I'm as funny as that guy. I think I can make as much money as he does, or she does. There's a lot of successful female comedians out here.
Right, right, right. So, how many mics a week would you say that you go to? I guess you go to, yeah. How many mics do you go to a week?
I go to at least 5 a week, and that's Monday through Friday, unless I have like a booked gig that I
Yeah.
have to like miss out on a mic for. And sometimes there's 2 a day. Like we started one in Waukesha. It's at Maddie's Bar in Waukesha. It's on Thursdays at 8 to 10, and that's right after the Thursday
right?
at the Improv, where that
That's
starts
right,
at 6
that's
p.m.
right.
And then people leave there, and it's like just a few miles up the road. You can go to another mic.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. Like, the scene is like nomads, but like pet animals. They're they go in droves. Like groups are like, yeah, we're mobbing to this one, we're mobbing to this one, and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on how many mics there? Do you think there are enough mics happening in Milwaukee for for people to try material and whatnot?
Yeah, Monday through Friday, unless you're only available on weekends, because there's not really much open on the weekends besides this one on Sunday that I stopped going to. Just because the audience is just like old men, and that's the only audience there. So it's like,
So it's not like enough perspectives.
yeah, there's no women, there's no older women, there's no young people, there's no minorities.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that makes sense. So, with speaking on that, would you say is there like a huge differentiation between like scenes as far as like minorities and non-minority shows? I guess would be
I
the way
say,
to put it.
I say in Milwaukee for local comedians, there's 6 black people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say
Whoa.
there's 6 black people that come to it as much as they can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to name them
Of
all.
course. But no,
But
I get
there's
that.
not
But,
many
like,
of them.
wow, that is crazy.
So whenever one does come to the show, they get the audience attention pretty easily.
Well, that makes sense. Like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, it's pretty different.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. So, with you having done this for 2 years in Milwaukee, is there any tips that you might have for someone just starting out and wanting to like get out there and make some waves, get some laughs?
I would say confidence in yourself is important. Confidence in your joke, knowing that the same joke isn't going to hit the same in every room. It doesn't mean that the joke is bad. It just means that that joke is for a certain demographic of people. If you are using notes, try to get off notes on your own time. Don't let anybody force you to stop using notes if you're not ready. And most importantly, just do stand-up comedy as much as you can, and do it in new locations if you can. If there's a certain place you're afraid to do your stand-up comedy at, I feel like that's like an important place for you to do your stand-up comedy at.
Right.
Because, it's challenging. If you're doing the same room, you're like, oh, I feel comfortable with these people. I can say anything in this room. You should try saying those same words in a different room.
Right. Huh. That's definitely good to know. Those some gems, gems.
Oh yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, with that being said, folks, I'm here with Simba the Comic. That's at Simba the Comic, one word, no underscores, because we score in real life. I don't know if that's a tag. So I'm Darren with Sorta Ridiculous, and this has been another episode of Drunken Comics at Drunken Cobra. Let's get Sorta Ridiculous.
You know, online dating is impossible. Online dating is impossible because people talk to me like I'm a sex robot, and I'm like, I do not compute. Someone asked me how big my dick was, and I was afraid to answer him in inches, so I answered him in grams. Like 420 grams? I don't know. I had to do some research on that joke, because the first time I said that joke, I said 4 grams. Someone after the show, they were like, hey dog. Your dick shouldn't weigh the same as $50 worth of weed. And I was like, I didn't even think about it like that. Is that fine? Okay. They want me to get off stage, but my name is Simba the Comic, all one word on Instagram. Thank you very much.